Good afternoon and welcome to this lunchtime, a view from the top session called Opportunities for Home Claims Transformation Post-Pandemic, where Michael Porter, Senior Leader, International Markets Insurance at event sponsor CoreLogic, will talk about new InsureTech trends, lessons learned from the pandemic, and share tips for insurers planning and prioritising digital transformation projects. So to start, Michael, can you tell us a bit about yourself and CoreLogic?
Well, first of all, thanks very much for the opportunity to speak today, and I'm really looking forward to the chat. Well, I've been in insurance claims for about 13 years. I've worked during that time with some of the UK's largest insurers on deploying technology within the property claims sector in particular. That's everything from supply chain integration, consumer-facing technology, estimating platforms, and so on. During that time, it's been a real exciting ride. Obviously, one of the first solutions to be brought to market, which was a complete SaaS enterprise platform with a complete SaaS offering, which back in the late noughties was quite revolutionary at the time. So we've been on a real journey in that period with some of the carriers in terms of the adoption of this in business critical processes. So it's been a really exciting journey for me. The roles that I've taken on have been in sales and account management and relationship management, and then latterly in commercial management and leadership roles. So really broad range of experience in this type of organization and in this industry. CoreLogic, as a business, we're one of the world's largest providers of technology and data to the property sector. That's everything. We use the phrase, we like to support customers with the finding, the buying, and the protection of the properties that they love. Insurance obviously being the protection element of that trio. The business that I work in insurance is global. We support markets all over the world, and everything from catastrophe planning right through to domestic claims management technology and everything in between. So a real broad offering in the insurance space. But one of the things that makes us different in this sector is the ability for us to bring property expertise from other parts of the property ecosystem into the insurance value chain. So that's CoreLogic and me in summary.
So Michael, what changes have you been seeing in the insurance sector since the pandemic started?
I think the main thing that we've seen is the speed of technology adoption by insurance companies and their suppliers in terms of how different types of technology and not necessarily really innovative cutting edge stuff, but stuff that's perhaps available in their business in certain areas being scaled up and expanded into their broader organization very, very quickly. I think that's been really impressive to see in terms of what those businesses have been capable of doing when they're under pressure and when they're in it was really a crisis situation, certainly in the middle part of 2020. It's also created opportunities for those businesses to review strategically what the opportunities are that they have for technology adoption. And now we're in the weeds of actually executing on some of those strategies that came off the back of that real catalyst of change that we saw in the early part to the middle of 2020. So really exciting times for our industry, and I think we've proven that actually as an industry we're capable of some pretty rapid action when necessary, which was perhaps not necessarily the reputation we had previously.
And what has been your biggest learning from the coronavirus pandemic?
So for us, I think it's about the team. I think we've learned, as a society actually, we've learned a lot about mental health and about people's need for social interaction and how they rely on team members, both in a work and a personal context, for things that they take for granted in terms of what they get out of those social interactions that might not be directly productive in a work context, but actually add a huge amount of value to their lives. Actually taking the time to focus on team cohesion, culture, making sure that people feel part of something, making sure that you actually specifically make time for those things within a team context has been a real learning for me and my team, and the team members within our broader organization. I think it's been a real experience because everybody's reacted to working from home differently. Some people find that it's the most natural thing in the world. Some people find it quite difficult. Everybody has different domestic circumstances, different challenges that they have to overcome or have had to overcome. And I think you've got to make allowances not only for what you want to do as a business and how you want to operate, but also how your team members best work and how they're able to give their best value. It's been a real experience for me in learning around that. And then in a business context, I think it's about speed of adaptation. We were lucky that we were a primarily remote team anyway, so we're used to operating with our customers in a remote environment. But we've had some great success actually working with customers remotely to actually implement technology, which has always been done on site in the past. We've actually managed to deploy technology in an almost 100% remote engagement, including remote training, remote, where we used to do things like floor walking on go live day. We're not able to do that now. So we have to work out having very, very frequent touch points with user groups so that we can make sure that they're comfortable and the value from the product is being delivered in the very early stages of its deployment. So it's been a real learning curve, but I think we've come through it really well actually, and learned that a lot more is possible than you perhaps thought previously.
So, Michael, everyone is talking about the importance of becoming more customer centric. Where do you think lays the biggest opportunities and wins for insurers to achieve customer centricity through technology?
I'm going to focus on home claims because it's kind of, my comfort zone, and we all like to stay within our comfort zone to a certain extent. I think home claims is one area where the customer being the center of the process and customer centricity actually as a concept is most keenly felt. We have a situation where in all situations or in all circumstances in a claim, typically the customer is the only consistent voice. You have often dozens of people involved. Sometimes it can be many different people over many months, in fact, where you have a very disparate view of the current circumstances, previous circumstances, what's the plan, what's going to happen. And so it's been very difficult traditionally or historically for us to, as an industry, service that customer in a very consistent and customer focused way. Or, primarily because every business uses different tools, different models, different technology to support that customer. And so that customer is going to feel like often they're getting picked up, worked with, put down, picked up by somebody else, worked with and put down. And I think the opportunity that we see, in particular for our platform, is to provide that consistency across the customer experience. No matter who the supplier is, no matter what the platform is, where they are in the process, you want to make sure that the customer feels that they are the center of what's going on and that they're getting a consistent experience from their insurer and their insurer's partner organizations. There's lots of great technology out there that can augment sections of the process. We talk about automation, we talk about, different ways of measuring, different ways of estimating, different ways of facilitating the process. But I think it's the focus on collaboration and an integrated experience, which is where the biggest opportunities lie. And that's certainly where we're spending a lot of our time, is working out how we can facilitate that more consistent and slicker process for all involved. And it's not just about the policyholder. The way you get that better experience for the policyholder is by enabling the business users to do their job more effectively and more consistently through technology.
So what are the greatest challenges, Michael, that the claims management tech sector could face in the future?
I'd really split this into three things, because there's three, in a way I look at it, there's probably three groups here that have different challenges. I'll start with the insurers. Their problem is going to be, or is currently really, selecting the right solutions and prioritizing those things correctly to achieve their ultimate objective. And a lot of the time, setting that ultimate objective is something that's been done. It might have been reviewed, certainly in the last 12 months, following what they've realized is possible. And the timescales for their change and their drive for transformation have probably come in a little bit in terms of what they think that they can achieve and when they think they can achieve it. But selecting the right partners, looking at the right solutions to go with, whether to think top down or bottom up? So do I allow my business to drive change from the bottom up, or do I start with a vision and then try and fulfill that vision? Is a real challenge. And I think we've got, there's a lot to do. We've come a long way, but there's still a lot to do in home claims. I think it's something that definitely is, like I said earlier, it's where there's a big opportunity for improvement. So they've got a big challenge. And then in the technology space, I think for us, there's the second two categories, I would say. One is an organization like ours, which is large, scaled globally. We've got to work out where we add our best value. We've done that. We understand our kind of core value, and what that is and how it can be delivered and how we can move the needle for carriers, whether that's on expense cost or whether it's on customer experience or indemnity control. We know where we sit and where we need to partner and where we need to bring the best of the outside or the InsureTech world into that ecosystem to deliver additional value to our customers, and how we prioritize that roadmap. That's something that we're working a lot on right now in terms of where is the industry going, what's the expectation, and how can we bring that to market faster through partnership and collaboration. And then the third set is the InsureTechs. Like a lot of those businesses, some great ideas and often some great technology, but transitioning from an idea to the next big thing, if you like, in home claims. How do they make that transition from concept to value execution? Some businesses have done a great job of that and are growing at a very, very fast rate of knots. And others in the InsureTech space, that's kind of the biggest challenge, is how do I transition from a concept to an executed value? So lots of different challenges, but it's really exciting place to be. And I'm personally quite happy that this is what I'm spending my time doing these days. So exciting times.
So Michael, with everything you've said so far, is digital transformation the solution for everything?
I can see a tongue-in-cheek question when I'm asked it. I don't think so is the short answer. It's a necessity, I think, rather than the solution for everything. I think, again, I tend to split things into sections and deal with them individually. So first thing is, what is the driver for it? What's the thing that ultimately is setting this agenda? Is it improved profitability or anything like that? I don't think it is. I think the ultimate objective or the ultimate thing that's driving this is innovation in insurance business models. I think insurers are recognizing that right now, the way that insurance is purchased, the way that it's accessed, the way that it's used as a service, not just as a product, is changing. People's expectation on how they will interact with their insurance provider as a service provider is different now, based on influences from other industries and other segments and sectors. Things like subscription-based, not just pricing, but commercial models, things like embedded insurance, things like, cooperative insurance captives and things like that. There's different ways of these services being accessed, and that's driving the customer expectation. And as people provide those services outside of the traditional insurance space, that's where we're seeing a need for innovation and a need for the more traditional insurance companies to become more flexible. And so I think that digital transformation is a necessity to remain competitive in that sense. If your objectives are, if you don't believe that, and you think that actually the traditional insurance model is the only way that anybody will ever buy insurance, and actually as insurance companies, what they need to do is continue to compete on a price level, and that's really where it matters, and the ability to be more price competitive is driven by cost control, and then you will focus on digital transformation for that reason. So I think it's a necessity for many different reasons. I struggle to think of an insurance company who's not on a journey to digitize their processes and their customers' experiences. But is it ultimately going to solve for the type of external influences that are going to face insurance companies in our sector in the medium term? I don't think so. I think there's some more fundamental adaptations required. So again, interesting place to be for everybody.
So let's talk a bit more about the business. What are the top challenges facing CoreLogic right now? Where does CoreLogic differentiate from other players in the market? And what are CoreLogic's plans for the future?
Well, I think that's again a challenge for us because we cover, you know, I've used the phrase before, we're a property business that services the insurance sector, but we're also a property business that services the mortgage sector and the real estate sector. So our challenges are different in different areas. I think insurance, it's all about, you know, it's a huge amount of energy right now in terms of technology and InsureTech and the revolutionization or the revolution that's happening within technology within our industry is a real kind of exciting space to be. And so for us, it's about agility and speed and backing the right horses when it comes to bringing product to market, and how do we divide our resources properly? How do we meet the expectations of our customers and continue to drive innovation into our sector? But in the real estate sector, it's a completely different challenge, and in other areas the same. So I think, you know, we as an organization have a huge amount of strength driven from our relative diversity when compared to other service providers into the insurance sector, because we can bring value from other areas, and sometimes innovation will be led in a property marketing context, which will add huge value in an insurance use case, and that gives us a great amount of resilience to lift and shift and to take the best of different technologies and services and service offerings and bring them to different segments within the same organization. So our challenges drive benefit really to all those customers that we service across our different verticals. We differentiate ourselves through our diversity within the property sector. So, you know, whether that's, you know, the understanding that's gained of a property during a mortgage process and what value that understanding can bring to an insurance and a risk context is kind of the primary differentiator of our value proposition. You know, find, buy, and protect. You know, whereas a lot of other service providers will just be looking at protect and how can they deliver value into the property vertical in that context. We can lift and shift, and we can provide a more holistic view of the property, a more holistic view of the risk that's been taken on, but also the consumer. Where are they at in their journey with that property? You know, what are the opportunities for cross-sell, upsell? Where are they at in terms of developing and improving their property, and what risk does that bring, but also what opportunity does it provide? So our diversity within the property sector is probably the thing that truly differentiates us the most. For us, it's about self-serve and automation. I think for everybody, it's about that. It's got to be about that, but in a way more about more than just providing a web access to notify a claim. For us, I think because of the assets that we have in place and the maturity of our technology, we're able to try and solve the bigger problem, which is how do I provide an automated experience for a policyholder in every possible context that they may want that to be available to them. So, you know, whether, you know, automation isn't just about single item contents or very simple glazing claim, but how can automation be delivered in a multi-supplier, relatively extended claims experience for that policyholder? You know, if you have an integrated supply chain, and if you have technology that it can be integrated and automated with other service providers, then you're a long way down the road to being able to enable that vision, that true automated experience. And I think that's our vision. That's where we're moving, where our technology is moving. And it's then if you bring into that the idea of external data sources like, you know, smart home, Internet of Things, loss prevention solutions, you get into a situation where you're not just managing claims, but you're managing events within a policyholder's experience with an insurance company. Maybe that's an emergency event. Maybe it's a leak has been prevented and you need to engage with the policyholder in that context. You know, how can we provide a platform for the policyholder to have an interactive experience with their insurance company in more than just an emergency situation? And that's where we can create opportunity as well for insurance companies to grow their revenue streams and develop new relationships with policyholders and with consumers in general. I think that's the exciting part of where we see our value being added. And it's certainly something that I'm looking forward to being part of.
So finally, Michael, when it comes to prioritising and planning digitalisation projects, what advice would you give insurers?
Well, I think this will be quite a short answer, actually. I think for us, it's about, or in my experience, insurers are tackling a huge amount of complexity all the time. And when, I talk to some of our more trusted customers and they're talking to me about the processes that they're going through and that we're working with them on, often prioritization is the biggest challenge they face. They're being told by everybody all the time that the solution that they're being offered is the panacea, the ultimate solution that they need to meet their objectives, and it's not always easy to identify which is the right thing to do. For me, the key thing that everybody needs to do in this context is set a guiding principle, understand where you're going, what you're planning to be, even if it's got an extended timeline, if you understand that it's going to take years. If you establish that long-term objective and that guiding principle, you build a framework around it by which you evaluate your opportunities. That can be very, very small opportunities to do incremental improvements. It can be point solutions within a value chain, or it can be transformational change. If you've got that guiding principle and you can use that framework to evaluate your decision-making or to support your decision-making, then you're in great shape and you will make progress. And you can look back often after a year or two and, oh, well, I did this and I did that. Well, actually, we wrote this down. We said this was our objective. We set it out and we understood that if we did the right things in the right order, we would get there, and we've arrived at our destination. That is often, looking backwards is when you realize the progress that you've made. As long as you've got that guiding star and that guiding principle, you will be successful, even if it kind of happens to you, because you get lost in the individual projects on the way. But we've achieved some great work, great results over the years with our customers, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to do more of that, and they can put their trust in us that we'll be there with them on the journey, even if it's an extended journey, delivering value along the way. So that's my key advice, is set that clear objective and evaluate against it.
Thank you very much for sharing your views, Michael.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll have a chance to do this again. Cheers.
Now, before I go, I want to remind you, you can catch up on all the Insurance Post Live annual conference sessions on demand. Stay tuned for more sessions this afternoon, including at 2:30 and 3:30 with the ABI Hugh Evans and Arch Insurance Steve Bashford respectively. And for more detail, check out the event website. Until then, goodbye.
Hi, I'm Lee from CoreLogic, and I'd love to tell you more about CoreLogic and what we do. At CoreLogic, we're all about helping people to better find, buy and protect their homes. Our insurance solutions include an established claims workflow and collaboration software. The platform enables insurers to manage and resolve claims faster. It helps insurers to centralise and digitalise their entire claims process. Plus, it helps insurers to provide better and more tailored customer services. Our insurance offering also includes global coverage of more than 180 catastrophe models and associated risk management services to help insurers and reinsurers better understand property risk from weather and climate change perspectives. We are a global property company with UK offices and local support in London, the Midlands and Hampshire. Many of our employees have worked for insurance companies before, so we have first-hand experience of the day-to-day challenges people in claims are experiencing. Our solutions have been developed for the specific needs of insurers, their customers and suppliers. We continuously enhance our product, services and offerings to ensure we meet the needs of clients today and in the future ahead. Let me now introduce you to our claims workflow and collaboration platform. Imagine you have one single platform for all claim participants to interact with and collaborate. Whether it's the policyholder, the claim handler, external suppliers, contractors or brokers. With CoreLogic, you can bring everyone under one roof to work together collaboratively. Through CoreLogic's platform, all claims communication and data are centralised, and as a result, information and data are accessible much faster. Everything just becomes simpler and more transparent. You get instant real-time views on the whereabouts of every claim in your system, and you know exactly where your claim sits at every stage in the claim cycle, who is doing what and when. This can be very helpful for optimising your workforce management, and it also helps you to react faster to unexpected volume peaks. Managing suppliers and contractors becomes much easier with our platform. We give you the tools to better communicate with external claim parties, but also to better measure their work and SLAs. As a result, you gain more control over parts of the claim journey that previously were often out of your reach. With our software, you can automate your claims processes in any way that suits best and fits your individual business requirements. Automation makes it so much easier to standardise processes and bring structure and simplicity into the complex world of claims. We all have experienced how consumer behaviours change towards digital communication. People expect services to be available instantly and multi-channel. Many of our insurance clients use our platform today to give their customers the option of a fully digital claims assessment. So how does it work? Well, policyholders can upload photos and videos to document the claim damage directly into our portal using any device from anywhere, at any time. Through an easy-to-use interface, files and documents can be instantly shared with claims handlers and all other claim participants. As a result, on-site visits can be drastically reduced, especially in times of COVID-19 and lockdowns. Policyholders appreciate having these options available. CoreLogic's platform also gives you access to a self-service portal that can be used by all claim participants. Through the self-service portal, all parties can receive updates and notifications in real time. Policyholders can now follow their claims moving through the different stages of the claim cycle for a truly connected claims experience. Another great aspect is that insurers can gather real-time customer feedback at any claim stage using a simple 1 to 5 rating. As a result, insurers always know how satisfied or unhappy their customers are at all times, so they can resolve arising issues faster. We also give insurers an automated and intelligent claims calculation tool. Get claim estimates quickly, whether the claim is managed from an office or on the go. Insurers who use this feature are seeing incredible time savings and a reduction of manual estimation errors. Through the platform, you can create automated claims workflows based on predefined business rules in just a few simple steps without any coding. For example, you can have the assignment of suppliers automatically routed based on a claim's complexity or type. By using these digital instruments of automation and intelligent algorithms, insurers can improve the accuracy of their processes and resolve claims much faster. Last but not least, it enables claims handlers to have more time focusing on complex cases where more personal interaction is needed. So let's talk a bit about data. Our software platform allows you to easily integrate with other systems. We fully support the industry's vision of a wholly integrated insurance ecosystem. To point out one example of how this can benefit insurers, external weather data can be automatically sourced into our claims platform, helping insurers to validate claims more swiftly. Just about 1 million claims have been processed with CoreLogic's platform last year. The software is available in the cloud, and we have local data centres in the UK, Ireland, and across the world. Interested to find out more? Let's start a conversation.